our next webinar. We have some people joining us. Great. Welcome.
So, hi, Muzaffar. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you. And yourself?
I'm good too. Good to see you again after a week.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Crazy week, crazy stuff has happened and lots of movement here. And yourself?
Yeah, life seems to be coming back again to its normal.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're looking forward to coming back to the normal life, but I guess it's going to be hard for.
Okay. Cool. Great.
But it's getting better now.
Great. I see some new writings just behind you. Haven't had a chance to ask. Looks good. Central Park from Friends. I see that.
Yeah. I decided to change my location because the previous 3 times I was in one room, so I decided to be here. It's more comfy here, and yes, I did it on purpose. It's one of our favorite TV shows.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, amazing. I love Friends. Love the Friends.
This is made by my wife, so she's a
wow, amazing. I mean, she's got a hand for that. Yeah, amazing. Does she do it professionally?
Now she does.
Okay.
Yes, she's been studying, so she's been practicing. I think it's over 2 years. So.
Okay, a small entrepreneur family, yeah.
So we're online on Facebook. Let me check it. Yes, we are online, and we could start in about a minute.
Yeah, sure. We'll give a minute time for everybody to join us, and let's see what sort of information flow we will have. I'm excited to answer all the questions as well at the end of the webinar. And as you know, we have short-handedly decided to cancel the fee for this webinar, and then said, okay, everybody is really in a tough situation at the moment with the Corona crisis here, and then the economical impact is not yet really noticeable. So I just had a revelation in the night and then said, hey, come on, we will drop this webinar as well free of charge so that everybody can profit from that and then gain some.
I was going to mention about it. So it's super nice of you, to do it this way that many people can benefit from it. So
Indeed.
Great. So today's floor is going to be whole yours. It has nothing connected with me, but I think I'll have some questions at the end of your webinar.
Okay.
So I'll be just here background somewhere here. So if you need me, you can call me. The floor is yours.
Yeah, you're always welcome to drop some words if you have some idea or if you have some. Let's say feedback just in between, and if you want to drop a line from your perspective. I mean, you've got also lots of experience, and from my perspective here is that I've been in this business of checking the CVs, sending out the CVs on my own lots of time. And what we're going to do in this webinar is that we're going to run the webinar in English, okay? And for those who do not understand the English language or have difficulties to understand all the information within it, what we're going to do is at the end of the webinar, I will just go ahead and do like a comprised version of this webinar in Uzbek language. Okay, so those people who just don't have the capability to go deep inside the wordings, English wordings, can ask me a question at the end for a Q&A as well in Uzbek, then I will be more than happy to answer the questions. And yeah, for those who are joining in over Facebook or YouTube or other channels which we've got online now, you gotta log in on a Zoom, because as soon as we reach the Q&A session, we will stop the live transmission, and only those who are logged in will be able to ask the questions and will get the information which needed. Okay.
All right.
I will repeat it in Uzbek so everybody understands it. Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli tomoshabinlar, xush kelibsiz. Hozirgi webinarimizga, bu webinarimizda biza rezumeni qanaqa qilib to'ldirish, qanaqa qilib korxonalarga berib, o'sha korxonalarda joy egasi bo'lishni o'rgatmoqchimiz. Shu webinarda qiladigan asosiy tilimiz ingliz tili bo'ladi. O'sha insonlar kimdir ingliz tilini bilmasa, webinar oxirigacha qoling. Webinar oxirida men ingliz tilini bilmaganlar yoki ingliz tilida bir xil so'zlarni qiyinchilik bilan tushunishga harakat qilganlarga o'zbek tilida tarjimasini berishga harakat qilaman va informatsiyani sizga beraman. O'shaning uchun webinarni oxirigacha qolinglar. So we'll start it up. I'll start the presentation and then we'll go ahead and move on with the information. Okay? Sure. For those who want to join us in between, you're always welcome to join us. We'll let you in, and looking forward. So let's start it up. Okay. Our today's webinar is Your Perfect CV. Your Perfect CV. Why did we do this seminar or webinar in this case? Is that because let me give you the kind of a background. When I finished the school, the first thing you actually, after finishing the school, what you do is you sit down and look you look for the universities and the places to work for. But what you don't learn in the school is how to prepare yourself for a job, how to apply for a job, and how to start. And the first thing what you actually do is prepare your CV, your resume, and apply for a job or apply for a university. It doesn't matter if you're applying for the university in Uzbekistan. Back in the times, you didn't have to have the CV or resume to apply for the university. But nowadays, most of the universities, even in Uzbekistan, I know a couple of them, require a CV, require a resume, a short story, who you are, where you come from, and what you want to do. Okay? But this information is not learned in school. This information is not part of the agenda, and you don't get this information. The same challenge I faced when I finished school and then wanted to apply for university, I wanted to apply for a job, and I didn't know how to start. If you would have seen my CV, then you would shake your head now. Maybe I look at my CV now as well, and then I shake my head and I say, hey, come, you can do this better. And then I've applied in several countries, in Uzbekistan, in Dubai, and in Germany, definitely over 1,500, 2,000 CVs. And I was on both sides of this conversation. I was on the side of a person who's applying for a job, and I was on the side of the person who's hiring for that job. Okay, so I will try to give you the information from both sides, but my focus today will be concentrated on 10 mistakes you can avoid in creating a resume. Will be short story, short impact, but the most impact which you will be able to use and optimize your CV in order to get that job, the dream job you want to have. Okay, so no further ado, let's go ahead. First, typos and grammatical errors. For some, it might be pretty common. Yeah? You might be shaking your head and saying, yeah, typos and grammatical errors. This is so common that we gotta do that. And you just check your CV and you look at your CV and you think, okay, probably I've done everything correctly. But here is the challenge. As soon as you start applying a foreign language into your CV, let's say you're applying an English or a Russian into a Russian company or an English-speaking company, and you need to construct your CV in Russian or in English, then as a natural Uzbek language speaker or fluent Uzbek language speaker, you might still do some mistakes, specifically such mistakes like basic mistakes, just mixing up the word or mixing up a specific letter in between. So what really matters is that you concentrate, even if you are making a mistake, that you do not do such thing as just typing in really quickly and then sending out your CV. Take always the time in order to look into your CV. If you have some people who are actually supporting you, give them your CV so they can read it over, okay? And then maybe correct your CV to a specific typos or spelling mistakes. Yeah, this is basic, and that's what you really need to pay attention to. Without those basics, like grammatical errors, you will not come further, because it will give you an impression you are not qualified for a job. Let's say you're applying for a typewriter job or a book writer job. Yeah, you want to write a ghostwriter book, and then you have a basic typo mistakes on your CV. Yeah, you can write greatly, you can do a great job, but if you don't notice that you have a typo on your CV and you've applied like hundreds of jobs, then you're sitting at home and you're frustrated because you're not getting any reply, but you don't realize that it is not the problem with your CV, with your qualifications, it's a problem with a typo on your CV, okay? You might be 100% qualified and good enough for a job, and just for a record, you are good enough for a job. But with such a simple, basic mistake, then you might risk a chance to grab that job which you actually want, okay? So let's move on to the second, lack of specifics. Let's say I'm a hiring manager, okay? I'm a hiring manager and I sit in front of my computer. I just received your CV, I just received your resume, and I'm looking over your resume. And the only thing what I read on your resume is, let's say you're applying for a waiter's job, yeah? And as a waiter and leading a team of several other waiters, you are writing that what you do is you clean up the tables, you remove the dirt from the tables, and you serve the people. Okay, this is the one way to look at it. The second way to look at it is that you say, I oversee 5 people. Those 5 people give me a revenue for a restaurant about $20,000 US each person. I supervise them, I train them at least 2 times in a week for an hour. I make a work schedule for them, and I achieve a specific targets within a given period of time. Yeah, this is the same job, but you, with the first example, you're just generally talking about specific job. With the second example, you're giving specifics. Okay, what exactly consists from you, from what exactly is your job, what exactly consists in your job. Okay, what you do, you deliver specific results, and that is really important, because as a hiring manager, I do not care what you do daily. What I care about is what kind of results can you deliver for my company, for me. What kind of results can I expect from you as an employee And if I want to hire you, okay, that's the exact specifics which I am looking for in a CV. If you just write blah 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 blah, I just do the job, I come at 9 o'clock and I leave at 5 o'clock, then this is not interesting. This is just your job description. What you really need to target at is the specifics for your job description, what you do and what you can achieve. Okay? So the next point is attempting to use your CV for all the jobs which you're applying for. Let's say you're an IT person, okay? And you're doing a front-end development. What you did is you've created a CV which is great looking, and you definitely have the qualifications, but then you are applying to different companies, okay? Different companies, let's say one CV is being sent out to UMS, and the other CV is being sent out to a bank, okay? Both companies are looking for an IT person, but one company is in a telecommunication business and the other company is in a financial business. And what you've done is you've just created a CV, and using one CV for both job applications. What could happen is you are generalizing one CV and using this CV for both applications. What could happen is that the UMS is looking at your CV, looks at your CV and says, okay, he can do the IT, he can do the front end, but what we're looking for is front end in our telecommunication industry. And then the bank will take your CV and says, okay, he can do the IT, he can do the front end development, but what we are really looking for is in a user communication front end IT development for websites where we can pick up the users on our website and to push our products. But what he does is only IT and front end. There are no specifics, one more time, and you're using the same CV for both companies. What you gotta do is you need to specify for what positions and in which direction you want to use your CV. Meaning, if you are applying for an IT, then use specific wording, specific structure in your CV for that particular job. Let's say the UMS is required for a front-end development IT personnel in a telecommunication industry. Then use the specifics from those telecommunication industries and your background in order to grab that job. If you are specific enough, yeah, and individualize your CV to a particular job, you have a greater chance to grab that job for you. Okay, you have a greater chance to get hired. Okay, if I'm clear enough, then if you have questions to that, then you can ask me at the end of the webinar. So, highlighting duties instead of accomplishments. That I've mentioned slightly before with an example of a restaurant. Highlighting duties, okay, and instead of accomplishments. Duties and accomplishments are two different things. Let's say you work in a medical field, okay? You are a doctor. And your duty is to maintain the health of the people and check how you can make them fit again. Okay, how you can let's say a person is sick and then you look at it, okay, you diagnose it and you prescribe them some medication. This is your duty. You prescribe them medication and do your job. But your accomplishments is not that you subscribe the medication. Your accomplishment could be that you've had 100 patients in a year, and 99% of them are healthy again. Okay? So in your CV, don't mention that you diagnose people and you you check 100 people in a year, what you can mention is that out of 100 patients which you see a year, 99% of those are healthy again. So this is your achievement, this is your accomplishment. And if you put this specifics of accomplishments in numbers on your CV, let's say this 99%, and you apply with your CV and go to a hospital and say, hey, 99% of my patients are healthy again because I've treated them with specific ways, with specific medication, with specific diagnostics, and I have achieved this result, then they will look at your CV from a different perspective, from a different point of view. Instead of looking at your CV frontally, just because you're a doctor that you can diagnose and you can prescribe, that can do any doctor. But what do you achieve with that? This is most important, okay? So this is definitely a game changer here. That helped me a lot to understand how the recruiting person on the other side sits and concentrates on it and hires people. If you highlight only your duties, the duties can differ from company to company. If you're applying for a management position in one company, it doesn't mean the same management tasks will be the same in a different company. You gotta do specifics. You gotta put specifics and your accomplishments. Yeah, and don't do one size fits all. These are game-changing insights here. Okay. So the next one, going on too long or cutting the things too short. Going on too long, what do I mean with that? Have you ever had a CV which is 5 pages long? 5 pages long. Just imagine, do you really think that a recruiting person just sits there, has endless time and just takes the 5 pages CV and then goes through each and every point and then says, hey, this point is really interesting, then I will hire him? No, you've got about 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe a minute on tops that your paperwork is there, the hiring person takes it, just flies over it and says, okay, he can do this, that, and that, and this fits to my profile. Okay, call him for interview. And that's how it goes. The same applies for having your CV too short, trying to pack your whole entire experience into 1 page. Then you will have a problem as well, because you are leaving out important information. Let's say you've been working as a trainee, and then as a side hustle, you've been running your own business. Now you're applying for a position in a startup, and there in a startup, they require a hands-on personalities, okay? A hands-on personalities who can all automatically think on their own and apply their knowledge on their own. Don't need any supervision and just go-getters, okay? Hungry hunters. If you leave out this side hustle because you've packed all your experience in 1 page, then you're missing out the chance to get yourself a great job in a startup because you've just cut this information short. Meaning, if you're doing a management position and you're doing a hustle on the side and you're a go-getter, they just put this information on. I know that it contradicts to that you might be saying right now, okay, if I'm going to put all my information in my CV, then I will automatically have 5 pages long. Well, there we will come to individualizing your CV, as I mentioned before. Individualize your CV to a specific position and don't cut it short or make it too long. Okay? Meaning, if you're applying for a startup, then concentrate on those strengths which is important for a startup. And then you will grab that job and land that job which you want to have. Okay? So the next is a bad summary. A bad summary could be such a thing. I mean, you've done a great CV, you've put together all the entire information and relevant information, which is great. And then you come to a summary, okay? Summary with your goals, where you want to be, what you want to achieve, what things you want to accomplish for the company, and then what information flow you want to deliver, and then you compromise it into a chunk, okay, and a small chunk. And in this summary, you gotta concentrate not on that what you've written before and just repeat it one more time. What you're gonna concentrate is something what they don't know and a specific objective which you want to achieve by applying for this company, working for this company, and what do you want to deliver for this company. Meaning, many candidates lose their reading rights, at the beginning with a very clear career summary. I mean, you put the career summary on top, and then you say, okay, this is a summary I want to do, and this is my objective. And you start your CV on top. This is a picture, that is a picture, that is your contact information, and so on. Yeah, and then here's the summary. What you got to concentrate in a summary is not what you've done, is where you're going. Okay, where you want to be afterwards. You've got this job, and what do you want to achieve for this company, for yourself? And this is the summary which you actually need to concentrate to, or you can concentrate to. Many positions require also a cover page, okay? You can leave out the summary on your CV and input this information on your cover page. There you can, of course, indicate that you've done a lot of this, and of course you can deliver this and that in order to achieve this, okay? You can comprise it into 2 to 3 words so that you can give a general idea to a recruiter where you are going to with them. And then they will know, okay, this guy has a lot of experience in this field in 2 to 3 words, and he can deliver us this results in 2 to 3 words. And this is how the summary is done. It's not explaining them the information and so on and so on, and writing down the 5-6 pages of a CV. So concentrate on your summary, which is short. No action verbs. Okay, this is a tricky one. How many people don't know the difference between the action word and then just an action verb, and then just a verb, okay? Action words are delivered, actioned, implemented, started, and so on, which describe a specific motion, specific achievement. And if you do not use those words, and use, as I've mentioned before, I clean desks. Okay, you clean desks, but what is the specific ending to that? Cleaning is also an action verb, but what is achieved through that? Okay, action words can be, for example, I've resolved an IT issue for 4,000 students in a university by implementing a forum for students where they can collaborate with each other. That's it. What you've done, what sort of services you've delivered, and what is the result. And this is how the action words are implemented. Action words are at the beginning of your sentence, resolved. So automatically the hiring person thinks, okay, he can resolve problems. Okay, great, then we have a problem. We have a problem that we cannot get customers here inside. And we wanna go for social media channels. And then you can put in, for example, I have implemented social media SOPs for employees, which increase the interaction with our end customers. And now we have 40,000 followers. And that's how you implement those action words, okay? So the next one, leaving off the important information. Important information could be, for example, if you are a woman and you have kids and you've spent approximately 2 years in your maternity leave and took care of your kids, okay? And you've decided to go back to work, and you're applying for a specific job in a bakery, okay? And in this bakery, you would like to work. You didn't mention any specifics. You did all the stuff, and the important information which you might be leaving out here is, let's assume you've been baking a lot in these 2 years, and you've learned how to bake a cake without specific ingredients, that you can leave out the butter, you can leave out the egg, you can leave out the sugar, and still have a great cake which you can bake. But this is your private experience. And if you would implement this information into your CV, where you are applying for a bakery and saying, okay, I've learned during my maternity leave this, that, and that, and I can cook or bake without specific ingredients and still have great results, then you have a greater chance to go and work for this bakery. Because you're bringing a know-how, you're bringing a specific experience from different fields. Yeah, let's say you're working in hotels. You worked in the hotels and you've learned great customer service experience, but your job specific was that you are checking in the people. So during the checking and checkout process, you've written down what you've done, but what you could mention as well is that you can multitask. You can attend to the needs of the customer from a different perspective. Not only a check-in, not only a specific task, but what you can do is, a part of a checking in, you can explain the surrounding. You can upsell. You can sell different products. You can upsell to a different room category. You can organize the taxi and transport. So you're also involved in logistical part of the whole entire job. So those are the important informations, and that needs to be included into your CV. So you can get the attention of the person who is sitting on a hiring side. Yeah, and that's how you can work on those little things. Visually too busy. What do I mean with that? Visually too busy. Sometimes I receive CVs and I look at them. Some people ask me to check their CVs, and then I look at the CV, and then the first thing what I have in mind is, where do I start? Because their CV is so full of information on one page or on several pages, and here is the smiley, and on the other side the information, and they've written in a small letters, and they packed the whole entire information, and they are writing their specific job descriptions from one end to another end of the page, and packing using the whole entire little centimeter. The picture is so small, and the headline is so small, and they're using a different fonts, for headline different font, and for the specifics different font. So you get crazy, because you have it in your hand and you don't know where to start, because your eyes are rolling everywhere. And this is a problem, because with such a CV, the first thing what you get in your hand as a recruiter, what you say is, if he cannot get his CV in order to to communicate properly and communicate clearly and deliver me that message which I want to hear, then this is going to be the same issue when we hire him. Then we have a problem and we ask that particular person to solve this problem with let's say a presentation and present it to a management. What we're going to have is a presentation full of visually stuffed information where you lose the track of the flow. So concentrate on visually delivering the information in a short period and point. Incorrect information. Well, you will be laughing right now as well, and then saying, "Hey, people, we do not deliver incorrect information. If I want to get hired, then of course I will deliver correct information on my contacts." Well, I had a great friend, or I have a great friend. We worked on his CV. Great qualified person. He has amazing CV, which would get him hired by any great company. And I looked over his CV. He applied his CV, and I had a great feeling that he has good qualifications. And what I didn't look, of course, into it is his contact details, because I assumed his contact details would be correct one. And when you enter your contact details, you go from that point and say, okay, this is the correct one. He applied. He sent out 5 CVs to great companies, and he was frustrated after a month when I've talked to him. And I've talked to him, and then we looked at his CV and thought, okay, what is wrong with the CV? The CV is great. The qualifications are amazing. Any company would hire him right away. What happened is that we went then from the top of the CV, looking at his picture and the contact details. Yeah, we looked at the contact details and noticed that instead of underline on his email, he made just a minus between the name. Okay, and just because he missed one specific letter or a sign, he hasn't got any contact details. What he has done is, after that, he corrected his email address and sent out an email that he accidentally put in an email which was incorrect. And now that he has corrected it, and he applied again. What happened is, out of 5 new job applications, he got 3 invitations for an interview. 3 invitations, just because he has corrected his contact information. This is so vital, so simple, and the people don't pay enough attention to it. And when you are putting the communication outside, you gotta have an email, you gotta have a contact phone number, okay? And through these 2 parts, you can lend yourself. If you don't have an email, then get yourself an email. With this 2 communication information, you can actually just stop there and don't input an additional fax number or additional second phone number and so on and so forth, because you will deliver an impression that you're too busy. Just give them an email address and a correct phone number, correct email address, and input the information there. Nobody sends out nowadays a letter to your home. Okay, everybody sends out over an email or over a phone. They do the business on a quick way. So it would be a little foolish to put your contact address. If you're applying to a foreign country, of course, this is required, that they know that you are located in a different country. So you can go into the specifics on relocation. But if you're applying within the country, then you don't need any contact address in there on your CV, in my opinion. Okay, so those were the 10 points which are important on your CV, and then 10 mistakes which you can avoid. Let us go through one more time. Okay, the first part was that you got to look at the typos. Yeah, the typos are really important, that you check or let your CV be checked from somebody who can really good. Who is really good in grammar and read correctly and pays attention to details. Okay. Then the second part was that we concentrated on specifics. So use specific information on your CV. Don't put general information there. As a lack of specific will not get you higher. Then attempting to use one size fits all, meaning one CV for all the companies, doesn't work like that, because every company is different. Every company has different agenda, different goals, and you gotta also concentrate what your goals are and concentrate on companies' goals and make your CV accordingly. And highlighting your duties instead of accomplishments. What you can do now is that you can highlight your accomplishments and remove your duties from your CV. So what you've achieved, what you've changed, what results you've received. Okay, and make your CV as short as possible, but as long as needed, if I may say that. Okay, as short as possible, but as long as needed. Usually, when you're applying for a management position and you have done the management jobs for the last 2 years, and just right before you finish the university, you don't need to input the information what you've done during the university. You put the information about your university, what jobs you've accomplished, and concentrate on that management level, because you're not applying for, let's say, a job which was just a side hustle, bringing out the newspaper to different homes. Okay, and what you can also, what you've learned now is also putting together the summary also as short as possible, as long as needed, with 2 to 3 sentences, eye-catching information where the people can take your CV and then say, okay, great, this guy, I wanna get to see his CV further. I wanna get to know him. Okay, use action words. Action words: resolved, helped, achieved, reduced costs, for example. Those kind of awards will land you the job. They will help you to concentrate on your strengths and what you can do for the company instead of what you've been doing. Okay, living off the most important information or important information for the job, like an example of a bakery and the woman was going back to work after the maternity leave. I mean, put information inside, because nobody is staying still during the period where they have a sabbatical or leave. You learn new skills, so just input the information which can be relevant to that job which you're applying for. Okay, incorrect contact information. This is really important. Put together the contact information which is correct, and you don't need a lot of contacts, so that you can give your father's, mother's, or grandfather's phone number. That is not needed. Your phone number and your email address, that should be enough. Okay, and visually too busy, make it as pleasant as possible for other people to read your CV and to look at it, so that you can learn out of it, that the people can get to know you and learn the most important information out of your CV. Okay, and now we can go ahead and look at the bonus information. I put together the bonus information in the sense that you can also understand what lies just behind those 10 mistakes which you can do. Okay, I will not go as outlined here on the screen, but I will give you the information as I think according to the importance. Okay, career goal. Okay, your career goal is most important, and you gotta be clear about your career goal before you apply for a job. Applying for a job just for the sake of money and for the sake of having a job is not the best way, and most probably you will not hold on to this job very long. You gotta be specific about your career goals and then make the move to apply for a specific job. Okay, this is the first bonus. Appearance. Okay, I'm not talking about the appearance of your CV or of your resume, but this is also really important. But I've mentioned that before. Your own appearance. I mean, you do not put the picture on your CV from your Facebook page where you are maybe kissing your girlfriend or something. Yeah, this gives a wrong impression to a recruiter. If you put the picture where you are hanging around with your girlfriend, then they will think about, okay, he has a lot of time for his girlfriend, but will he have a lot of time for us? Concentrate on our problems, what he can solve for us. Okay. And first impression, I see a lot of CVs with some coffee spilled out on the CV. Okay, there is a stack here, and most probably they've given the CV to somebody else. They've all read the CV with some sort of oily hands, and then they send out this CV to a company. What happens then is that the recruiter takes the CV and knows directly, okay, the CV has been seen a lot or has been read a lot. Also gives the impression that the person who's sending out the CV is recycling the CV. This is what is called, yeah, recycling the CV, getting the CV back from those recruiters where they didn't get the job and then using it again. This is not the great idea. And relevance, okay. I'm always coming back to this relevance. You put only relevant information. Let's say, I'll come back with a visual example to that, but let's say I've been working since I'm 15, and I used to do side hustles. Okay, I used to sell some chewing gum on the street and help out my grandfather with his job. Okay, you don't put this information on your CV if you're applying for a different job which has nothing to do with that job which I've mentioned. Okay, and I do not apply with such a CV to a management position. What I do is I concentrate on the position where I'm applying for, and for only to the specifics of that position. Yeah, your job in your holiday, it has no relevance to that. So concentrate on those. And accomplishments, I've mentioned that, I'm mentioning it again. Use only accomplishments, not your duties, not what you do at the moment in your current job, but what you've achieved in your current job. Okay? If you're a bookkeeper, let's say, you can write, I'm a bookkeeper, I have saved the company, let's say, XY amount of money, XY amount of money through implementing standardized procedures for financial department, or changing the suppliers for our credit card or our card suppliers. And those are the specifics, okay, what you can do for the company. And lately, the last but not least is writing style, okay? We are all different. I talk differently, I write differently, I have a different writing style, I have a different, if I would write a book, for example, I would have a different writing style as a person sitting as a president to like a Barack Obama, let's say. Yeah. When I write, I concentrate on being polite and using words which are fitting the job I apply for. Meaning, if you write like a rapper on your CV, hey dude, I'm great, I'm gonna do my job and I will get you all the things done, then most probably you will not get the job. Okay, you gotta there are different points you need to pay attention to. Use a job-specific wording, job-specific content, and then create your CV accordingly. Otherwise, that would be just shooting into the sky and hoping that you get a bird in your hand. Okay. So now I'm open for questions, and we can turn on the microphone. Thank you for your attention. As I said before, I will be more than happy to answer your questions also in Uzbek as much as I can. I hope my Uzbek language is not rusted, and let's see.
Okay, thank you very much. Could you turn off the presentation, please?
Sure.
We'll be able. I see some familiar faces. I think we have here.
Good day.
Hey, Johar, right?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How about you?
Good, good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, good day, sir.
Hi there, Johar. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How about you?
Good, thank you.
And,
So, do we have questions here?
Yes. First of all, thank you for this very useful webinar. To
You're
you,
welcome.
Mr. Fred. It was very informative. If I can, I have more than one question.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
First of all, I have seen that some professionals say that you should not include picture in your CV, whereas others say it should be included. And
Well,
the second one.
Let's start with one question at a time, and then we'll go ahead. Or you want to just drop your all questions, and then I'll take it one by one.
Okay. Okay. One by one.
One by one. Okay. This is tricky one. Okay. We are all human beings, and as a human being and a human nature, what we actually do is we mirror ourselves. We mirror ourselves and look people on the same level, on the same appearance level as well as we are. What happens is if you do not include your picture, let's assume you're applying for a personal trainer. You didn't include your picture, you have qualifications, you have everything what you needed, okay? You didn't include the picture on your CV, and you send it out and got invited to meet up, okay, with a recruiter. And then you appear to the interview, and it turns out that you haven't done any sports for the last 5 years, and you've gained like 20 kgs.
Yeah.
So now the question: are they going to recruit you?
I don't think so.
This is a really tricky one. I mean, your qualifications needn't to be perfect in that sense. But what it is it gives a specific charm on your appearance. Okay. Well, there is no other way except putting your CV in front of somebody, but they need to put this qualification to somebody's face. Then otherwise this is psychologically doesn't work. Okay. You can most definitely send out the CV without any picture, but if you have included a picture on your email, that could work as well. There are different ways, okay? But those professors or those specialists, they say that if you don't, I mean, your picture doesn't have to be the reason why you didn't get the job, but it also doesn't have to be a reason why you didn't get the job. You know, that this is the decision which the applicant makes.
Yeah. Can I add to this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
A little bit? Yeah. As my experience, you're right. Most of international companies, I think, I had been applying like 10 years ago to many international companies. So many of them, they don't ask. And I agree with Muzaffar. Usually you have it on your email, your photo. So it should not be the reason, your appearance should not be the reason for you to get hired, unless if it's modeling, company or something.
Yeah.
And our local companies, I can give as an example, UMass or Uzbat or some other companies, they usually have their own CV application form. You have to download it. So if it has on the top, on the corner, the picture, like photo, in the frame, so I guess you better put a photo. But if it doesn't have, yeah, it's okay. You just pay attention to
Does this answer your question?
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
So second one is actually now I am graduating from university and I'm about to apply for the master's degree.
Okay.
And so there's a difference between professional CV and CV for university degree. I know that it takes a lot of time to explain the difference, but what I should pay more attention when I'm creating a CV for university degrees? What should be highlighted?
Thank you for the question. This is a great one. This is a great one, and even I have a difficulty to reply to this question. Although I've seen a lots of CVs, a lots of practicants who are or management trainees who are coming in with their CVs and wanted to go for management training and so on and so forth, and universities and master's degrees. But in simple said, that one is concentrated on a job, the other one is concentrated on your academical achievements. Meaning, if you are putting up together a CV, usually it doesn't really matter how you put the CV on, okay? Most importantly is where you want to go, okay? Meaning, if you want to go for an MBA or a master's degree on a specific job, and you've graduated on your bachelor's degree, and you've had great achievements on your bachelor's degree. Let's say you've graduated with honors, you've got a lots of sponsorings, you've got lots of grants from your university, you've been pushed forward, then it makes sense to concentrate on your academical achievements in order to get hired from that university. Hired in a sense that you will be hired for that course where you want to study further. On a job front, as I've mentioned before, you concentrate on difficulties you can solve, okay? Your qualifications, and the qualification, it doesn't mean that the qualification in your academical background. Qualifications is that what you've done before and what you're good at, which you can implement in that company and save them money, save them time, get better employees and new recruits and so on. So at one, you concentrate on your academical achievements, okay, on your grade, on your path after the school, and on the other one is on your path, on your career path where you want to be. Does this explain you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So the last question, according to your presentation, can you please give one more example for rule number 7, no action verbs? Can you give one more example?
I will give you with a pleasure, yeah. Just give me a second. I will give you a visually example, which will help you out to pay attention to that, okay? So, action verbs. Let's have a look. I will share my screen so that you can see that. There we go. Can you see the screen?
Now, yes.
Okay. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Look at this specifics. Successfully launched a Falcon Heavy, the most powerful operational rocket in the world. Successfully launched, meaning he has achieved something. Okay, he has accomplished something.
He's not saying have launched, yeah.
Yeah, raised 10 million by selling 20,000 flame throwers in 4 days. Meaning that he made 10 million. Okay. Or here, global sales past 250,000 units. And this is the part where you pay attention to what you've done for this company, for this place. And the same is like on his position as a Solar City, as a co-founder and the chairman of Solar City, merged the company with Tesla. So a merger between the companies, you've helped to merge one company with another, was an achievement. And this is what you pay attention for, okay? And that's how you make the CV. You highlight your skills and highlight accomplishments, okay? Your skills, what you can do, needs to be combined with that what you've achieved, which will deliver a specific message to a company or to a university, doesn't matter. Well, what you can do for them, okay? And the same is, let's say here, aiming to reduce the global warming through sustainable energy production and the consumption. Action, what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve, what he wants to accomplish. Okay? And this is additional to that. Here he mentions what he's already done. Okay? And here his academical and background rewards, what he has got. Okay, 21st of the Forbes list of the world's most powerful people. Okay, and then here are the interests. And most important is that your interest, if you put the interests, your interest needs to be aligned with that what you are doing here. If you're applying for sports, okay, and you put, I eat a lot of chocolate as an interest, then you will most probably not get hired in the sports field. Okay?
Yeah.
And you can for the visual aids, yeah, visually placing your CVs on a creating your CVs. Okay, I got tips for you. Novo Resume, here you can see that. Enhanced CV, those are the companies which help to visualize better, to give you the visually better CV. Okay. Most of the basic solutions are free of charge. You can download them, you can create a CV, register, and then download it, and you will have more or less such a great CV available. Okay, and if you have a CV which you are not sure if this is a great CV or if you have some parts which you have which you can improve, you go to monster.com, for example, and then get evaluation, get a free of charge evaluation for your CV, and you can then afterwards correct it if it's needed. okay? Use the tools, okay? You don't have to do it everything on your own. You can get in touch with us, and then we will look into your CV and then talk about it, okay? Hey, Jawahar, I will look at your CV and say, Jawahar, where you applying with this CV? Oh, Muzaffar, I'm applying with my CV to get my master's degree. Okay, great. What is the university where you're applying for? And then we will go through your CV and then we will correct it. We'll say, okay, this is great, this is not great, this is great. You can fine tune it a little bit, and so on. Okay,
Thank you.
those are the ways. Give me a second, please. My battery's going down. I'll just need to stick to that.
Okay. So I wonder where is the Elon Musk is applying his application form to.
So where are you applying?
No. I mean the Elon Musk's application.
Elon Musk, yeah, okay. Well, I've got lots of examples here. I've got Marisa Mayer as well here. Okay, Marisa Mayer was the first woman who worked in Google in high-paying jobs and was the president and CEO of Yahoo. Okay, and if you see the difference, okay, here he is concentrated on his achievements and where he want to go, and she is concentrated, for example, or her CV is concentrated around that what she can offer as a person, okay, what she has achieved. For example, she put the language skill, English, fluent, mother tongue, Spanish, German, her education. Education is the least what the people look at. You're applying for a job. Nobody cares about your education. Nobody.
So first one goes with experience then. Huh?
Exactly. Nobody cares if you have a bachelor's degree, if you have a master's degree, or if you have an MBA. We've got rocket science driving a taxi. Okay? Nobody cares.
Okay. So with short words about the using the verbs, action verbs, it's like instead of saying I'm a student or I'm a worker at this company, you better say like I have been working on this project and then so on, right? So using like at the same time showing your achievements.
By working with this in this product, let's say, let me give you a specific example. Okay, you're working on a project in your school, in your university, which will revolutionize how we study, how the students study. Okay, let's say you have come up with a version how the students can learn quicker and become and consume the information which is given during the classes, so that they can that they don't have to do a homework. Okay. So what you do is you write down, came up with a project which reduced the study time for the student and gave them the same results or greater results. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you don't put the student by definition itself. What you say is, I'm a future leader in this area because during my studies I prioritize this and these fields, and I want to work in that area. Okay.
Good, clear.
Yeah.
So what was it clear for you, Jawahar?
Yeah, it was very clear and understandable, and thank you so much for the explanation and information and for your time.
Yeah, anytime.
Let's come back with the big pictures now, please. If you don't mind, of course. This is obviously great CV. It is indeed.
Okay. We have Jahangir.
Yeah, I think he's facing the problem, turning on the audio, so which most of people, for the first time using the Zoom, that actually they face this problem. I hope that he will find it out, or the bad thing that he cannot hear us as well. I assume that he came from Facebook, but wanting asking a question. So I hope he will figure it out.
Wait, we didn't turn off the Facebook, by the way. Yeah. But that's okay now. We can leave it.
Yeah, yes, it's on me.
That's
Okay.
okay. That's fine. Do you have any other questions? I mean, are there any questions on the Facebook maybe which we can answer?
I will go in now, and meanwhile, I have some questions and then some additional information. So first about the incorrect informations, on your CV. Working, with U-School for over 16 years, being in the nothing. Sorry. Okay. So anyways, seeing lots of CVs and resumes, we have application forms, we have positions for learning assistants, we have positions, for apprenticeship program. And we have lots of, every term we have scholarships, and then in a year we see lots of application forms. And before telling I would like to ask you actually, have you had what was the hilarious mistake you've seen on an application form, the CV?
I assume my mistake or a mistake which I've seen on a CV.
Yeah. If you have a mistake, why not? You can share it with this too. I'm sure. Everybody has, but the one which you saw.
Okay. My mistake, the hilarious mistake, was that once I applied for a job where I didn't know if a hiring person is got a strange first name, okay? And I didn't know if the hiring person a woman or a man, okay? And then I just assumed, I just assumed this was an Arabic name, and then I said, okay, then that should be a correct name, and I know what it is about. And the name was Allah. So I assumed that it would be a Russian word, Russian first name, Allah. And I applied with Miss Allah and then the last name. It turns out it is an Arabic name and it is written with A-L-A-A, Allah. Yeah, and it is through and through a man's name. So this was hilarious. He didn't mind. He still asked me to come and go for an interview. Okay, because I assumed he knew that people confuse him all the time, and that was hilarious when I approached the desk and then told I would like to speak to Miss Allah, and then I have the man appearing before me. This was hilarious. I was embarrassed actually. And the hilarious application which I've received myself is, let's say, this is actually not hilarious. It is sadly the truth, from most perspective ones, okay? I received a lot of applications from universities. University students there who are just ending their degree and getting their degree, and I had an application for a CEO position from a student. This was really funny because this application was actually not from him. He copy-pasted in a template.
Oh, no.
And just changed his name and maybe even a picture and sent out the CV, I think. So I had an application for a CEO position, but on his cover letter, the position was stated differently. So the cover letter didn't match the CV.
It didn't work out, right?
Didn't work out.
Thank you very much. And with me, as I mentioned, the scholarship, right, which we give for 1 year studying, and there was a very outstanding applicant, you know, with a sad story and, you know, with a financial difficulty and so on. And we have chosen him definitely for the scholarship, right? And sadly, you know, he hadn't written any of his information, contact information. There was no telephone number, there was no email address, you know, and we really couldn't find this person. You know, we had been asking everybody, like, do you know this person? Who left? We went to administration.
Okay.
Can you remember this person?
Okay.
So, like, this person almost, let's say, got the position or the job or the scholarship, you know, but just one step, the last one, you know, leaving out the information. So
this is sad, yeah. That we come back to the same point number 10. Don't forget your contact information, or don't put the wrong contact information. And this is true. This is so true. People don't pay attention to that, and they just type in the whole entire information as quickly as possible because this is so automated. And then just a simple typo, simple number change could cost you a job or could cost you a scholarship in this part, yeah. And this is so sad.
okay, so just about the writing style, I know, like, the ones I mean, the popular one, the one which I have been sending, you know, I usually type them on computer and print them out, right? But what do you think? Can the CV be written, you know, by handwriting? You know?
Depends. Of course, I've seen a lot of handwritten CVs, even here in Germany. A lot of them, surprisingly, especially when you are sending out a CV to apply for a position in a creative department, meaning you have a lot to do with writing on the walls, like you have it behind you, like a creative art, in a sense that you're applying for a marketing department, but in the graphics, not in the marketing, like marketing the company to the outside, but in the graphics part, okay? And you need to do a lots of stuff with your hands and draw pictures and so on and so forth. Then it can mean also that if you send out the CV with the handwritten information, it could land you a job because it stands out from other CVs. But then you need to also deliver the job, okay? Handwritten CVs, most of the time when you apply for creative jobs, handwritten CVs come with specific photos, specific backup, meaning what they've done, what they've achieved, what they've have to showcase. Because with a handwritten CV, you can fill pages, and most of the time handwritten CVs are really short. I mean, they're quite compromised.
Okay, yes, you're right. But what if it's like simple, not the creative, let's say office manager position? So here we have.
I wouldn't take anyone.
So which one has? So here we have on one hand the handwritten one, and here we have typed and printed one.
For the office manager position, the basic needs for the office managers are that they can work on a Word, work on an Excel, work with the computer and type in this information. Because by handwriting everything, you are not able to save time. This is not effective and this is not efficient. Therefore, if you ask me, I would hire a typed in information, even if it is not, even if that person took a day to type in the information. It still gives the benefit of the doubt that the person actually can type in the information. If, however, you've got a person who's handwritten the information, it is great because it stands out. But then if it is an office manager position and you're not able to type in your information onto a CV properly, and you can make great CVs with the typed in stuff, then this is tricky because I wouldn't have confidence.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. The reason why I brought this up, I have lots of students applying for the positions, and I see, at least, 2 or 3 on this application form that it is handwritten. So for those who are watching it, so please take this advice. It's better not to be. I don't know what could be the reason, whether they don't have computer or.
You have cafes, you have computers from the neighbor, just borrow it for an hour. Or if you are not able to do that, then take a template and then at least use the basic information which is at hand. And if you really want the job, then you will do everything in order to get the job done for applying for that job, okay? Because I will give you an example. I've got a young student contacting me yesterday and asking me if I can give him information about studying abroad, studying in Uzbekistan, and we can do this information. I can deliver this information. Cross-border specializes on studies abroad, on grants, on helping the exchange students to settle down in foreign countries, and so on and so forth. So this young girl was asking me if I can help her and give her an advice on the universities, what kind of grants are available, and so on and so forth. So we got communication going on. And then I offered, okay, the first consultations, first coaching, free of charge. I will give you the information as much as is possible and see where you stand. And offered her to get in touch with me the next week, gave her a couple of dates and the points, okay? And I got an information, I will see if I can make it. So if you start with that, I will see if I can make it, then this will be also the result. And if you are applying for a job, for an office manager position, for a position where you need definitely have the skills to type in the information, and you have an attitude, I will see if I can get the job also with a handwritten information, then you don't have to wonder if you don't get the job.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So.
Okay, then if there are any questions, Jawahir, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. There are contact details, or get the contact details from your school, and then you're most welcome to connect.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and you will be up to date with all the other information.
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much, Muzaffar.
You're welcome. We'll keep in touch, and all the people who are watching us on the Facebook, this was a webinar about your perfect CV. A webinar where you've learned a lot of information how to create a perfect CV, what to pay attention to, 10 mistakes which you can avoid. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate, drop a line, get in touch, and then we are there for you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Good luck.